All right, moving over to the heavyweight division now. We got Mario Pinto coming in at minus 900 going up against UFC newcomer Felipe Franco, who comes in at plus 600. Now, Pinto, 11-0, undefeated. Somehow we were able to get solid plus money on him last time around against Jonata Diaz because people didn't expect Pinto to grapple. I know he mostly showed that he was a striker throughout his career, but you got to believe when you see an opponent with such a big flaw in their grappling game the way that Diaz did, Pinto and his team were going to game plan for him to go for takedowns. And that's exactly what he did. One judge actually gave him a 10-8 in round one because of how much he was dominating Diaz on the ground. But scorecards did not end up mattering as Pinto was able to get the TKO at the ending of the second round, completely dominating Diaz that night. Now, I know Pinto's first impression, especially in the UFC, did not look the greatest because he got dropped by Lane and nearly finished. But you got to give him credit for being able to survive that, coming back in the second round and producing his own knockout win. This guy is usually a very educated striker with good combinations, good timing, and good discipline. He doesn't usually rush anything. He kind of just waits for his opportunities and finds the shots to pick his opponents apart or look for takedown opportunities where he can have success there as well. He actually trains under the last fighter to have a legitimate win over Tom Aspinall in Stuart Austin. Stuart Austin was able to heel hook Tom Aspinall years and years ago, and that's actually the head coach of Mario Pinto, which is not a bad, guidance or a mentor to have, a guy that's as well-rounded as Stuart Austin is. Obviously, Stuart didn't make it to the highest level in mixed martial arts, but he's still a skilled and well-rounded mixed martial artist and clearly doing wonders for Mario Pinto's career. Now, moving over to the Felipe Franco side of things, I'm very surprised the UFC has decided to give this guy a shot. He got his opportunity on Contender Series this past season where he went up against Freddy Vidal, who came in on short notice and missed weight, but Felipe Franco looked absolute dog shit in that fight. We saw Franco get taken down in the first round of that fight, something that you did not expect to happen in the moment, and Vidal pretty much wore Franco down. The body language for Franco in that second round, even though he had a little bit of success, was not good. It seemed he gassed out in one round, which is absolutely horrible. Then in the third round, Vidal was able to push a little bit more and eventually get a rear naked choke against the BJJ black belt, forcing the tap with about 12 seconds left to go in that fight. Franco, up until that point, looked like the goods. He had me sold, right? He had me thinking that this guy was going to be somebody with big, big potential. But the level of competition he faced on the regional scene, similar to what we talked about with Ravina Oliveira, very low level. 8 of his wins on the regional scene, with only one of them was against a fighter with a win on their record. Hear me out. Only one of his 8 opponents on the regional scene had a win on their record. I got fooled, guys. I'm sorry. I apologize. So after the Vidal loss, he goes back to the regional scene. He beats a 10-7 opponent who was 41 years old at the time. He immediately knocked him down, followed up with a ground and pound and got the finish. Then in February, he went up against a 1-1 super low-level Muay Thai fighter, and that was one which you expect. He got to his grappling immediately, got the fight to the ground, and eventually opened up that submission, which was kind of funny, right? You see the submission he attempts an arm triangle choke, which he is struggling to finish, and then his opponent kind of rolled away from it, so Franco was able to get his back, but Franco did not let go of the arm triangle position, and as soon as the opponent turned, he tapped. So it wasn't like a legitimate rear naked choke. It was almost like an arm triangle from the back position, which usually doesn't submit anybody, right? Especially if they know what they're doing. And Franco was able to get the tap. So again, still facing very low level competition. And this guy's a light heavyweight, right? So he's taking this fight on short notice, up a weight class just to get into the UFC. But you have to wonder if he's still UFC ready and worthy of this spot. At his best, he utilizes his BJJ black belt, his judo brown belt, gets opponents to the ground immediately and smashes them, but that's going to get harder to do as he faces guys that will actually provide resistance. And that's what he's facing this weekend against Mario Pinto, hence why Pinto finds himself as a minus 900 favorite. Now, I expect Pinto to keep this fight upright. I expect Pinto to be the better striker, and I expect Pinto to eventually land a big shot to put Franco away. I'm interested to see what the actual props. I didn't get a chance to look at the props for this specific matchup, but I think Pinto eventually gets him out of there. I just don't know when. I'm a little bit hesitant in terms of the under 1.5 in case Franco is a little bit successful with kind of eating clock up by shooting for takedowns and initiating in the clinch. He is strong, even though he's a light heavyweight. But I think Pinto should be able to shut most of that down and then outstrike him on the feet, leading to a knockout victory. But I'm assuming with a minus 900 favorite, the KO prop is going to probably be somewhere around minus 150, minus 200, which I don't like paying that type of chalk for specific props like knockout props. But I'm still picking Pinto to win. I don't think Franco has much of a chance at all, and I'm going to go Pinto by knockout.